we must not project onto this president or onto this administration or people in Congress the views that we have, because it won't make sense. That's why so many people are frustrated. They're like, none of this makes sense. You must not think and act the same way that traditional small government, free market Americans, who may be Republican or Democrat, have always thought. Let's start here. Let's start with, because there's two choices tonight. So let's start with, let's just call it the Tea Party. You know what, I think it's really the traditional Democrat, like my grandfather, and the traditional Republican, not the progressives, but just the regular person that grew up in America, loving the Constitution and everything else. Do you not think that your neighbors, your Democratic and your Republican neighbors and your independent neighbors, can we all agree that the way we're living our life right now is unsustainable? We cannot continue to spend money. We can't continue to buy these gigantic homes and everything else. It's unsustainable. We have made mistakes, so it's all going to fall apart. Now, I think you agree with that. I agree with that. But does the president and the people in Washington, do they agree with that? Let's find out.
The alternative is a status quo that is unsustainable.
Simply unsustainable.
Set to remain on an unsustainable path.
An utterly unsustainable course.
Our current system is unsustainable.
This is the unsustainable path we're on.
Okay. So yes, the system is unsustainable. We agree with all the people in Washington. You agree. It's unsustainable. Now, how to fix it? How to fix it? You see, the president says he's not an ideologue. But he is an ideologue. And he's a pragmatist, too. The founders were pragmatic. They just believed in a small government. They believed in free market solutions. So I think the average Democrat and Republican, because look, we're all the same. There's good Democrats. There's even progressives that happen to be small business owners. And when you're a small business owner, you know it's the free market system. You cannot question that 70 to 80% of all jobs created in a recession or depression are created by the small businessman, the entrepreneur. So we believe in the free market solution, not corruption, not these big banks that are out of control, not people being dirt bags to each other, but decent, free market people doing the right thing every day. We believe in the small businessman. The question is, does the president believe in the free market system? Watch.
We have been guided by a Republican administration who believes in this simplistic notion that people who have wealth are entitled to keep it.
Must redistribute wealth.
Are you then calling for the redistribution of wealth in society?
Absolutely.
We know that the free market is nonsense.
So I think the debate for the new generations, instead of capitalism or socialism, is we're going to have both.
The dream was to make everything equal in everybody's house.
And there's going to have to be a degree of redistribution.
You dispel all the negative images we have been programmed to conjure up with just the mention of that word socialism or Marxism.
You need to do some redistribution. This is a form of redistribution.
And I think when you spread the wealth around, it's good for everybody.
Okay. I believe he believes that. To believe in redistribution of wealth or Marxism does not make you evil. I think it makes you wrong. I think it makes you naive. Look, the president doesn't want to destroy people. Perhaps the people who believe in this should read history of how previous attempts at big government have ended in disaster, not once, not twice, but every time. But this is what they believe, okay? They do not believe in the free market solution. They agree things are unsustainable, so something has to be changed. But they do not believe in the free market solution. Now, the third one is, this is you, I assume, you believe in small government of the people and by the people. You look to the founders and original intent. You look to the documents that have always guided us to get here. Okay. Are we looking for a small government of the people, an American original intent? Is that what they're looking for in Washington now?
So how are we going to achieve a new global economic
economic order.
As students, as workers, or as global citizens.
A new set of rules for the whole world.
We created global trade. We created global finance. We created global companies. But we forgot to create a global government.
And one of the ways it will drive the change is through global governance.
Work on a better world order.
Global citizenship. Continue to bind us together.
Okay. That's why he spoke in Germany, because he believes in global world orders. Everybody in his administration does. Now, what's frustrating here is whenever we play the clips of them expressing this view, tonight I'm going to be the one who's called crazy or a conspiracy theorist or whatever for playing their words. Well, it doesn't... Stop playing that game, America. Stop caring what they say, because the republic is at stake. And do I sound hateful? Because I sure don't want to be hateful. I'm just trying to point out the differences between us. I thought diversity was a good thing. Here it is. Choice 1. Things are unsustainable. We both agree on that. 2. Free market solutions. They say no. Redistribution of wealth. You don't have this crazy notion of keeping the wealth you make. And a small government of the people, by the people. Look to our founders' original intent. No. A global governance or global government run by elites. That is fundamental transformation. This is restoration. And I want to make it very clear, if you're watching this program and you disagree with me because I'm a hate monger, I'm not talking about restoring what we had under Bush. That was broken by Republican progressives. I agreed with you that we needed change. But what are we transforming into? You have to look at their actions, because this is where you have them. This is where your neighbors can come to this. If you understand, do not look at this administration with these eyes. Look at everything they do with these eyes. Does this make sense? Because when you read the news, nothing makes sense if you look at it with this. Use this framework. Things that don't make sense. I'm just going to give you one quick one. The BP oil spill. Obama was quick to put a moratorium on the drilling for oil in the Gulf. At the time, we explained how even if you temporarily banned oil in the Gulf, it would be devastating for jobs. Judge ruled against the ban. Obama just went around it. Well, the ban resulted in at least 23,000 jobs being lost in the region as a result. So it was horrible for the economy. If you look at it through this eye, that doesn't make any sense. But he took it a step further. The next thing he did was he said we have to cap and seal 3,500 U.S. wells in the Gulf. What this means is you permanently plug those wells. Anything unused in the last 5 years has to be shut down and permanently sealed. Well, anybody who knows anything about the oil companies at all, they know that oil companies routinely seal the well, then go back to the old wells to get more oil. Experts estimate the Obama order will cost the oil companies $1.4 to $3.5 billion just to cap the wells. Some smaller producers will be giving up $6 to $18 billion in lost revenue for future production. So we've closed the doors on our own companies, which doesn't make sense. It's unsustainable. We need capital. We need money. We need cheap energy. But here's where it really gets confusing. At the same time, I told you on this program, we opened a door somewhere else. We issued a preliminary commitment last year to loan $2 billion to Brazil for oil exploration that is deeper than what we were doing here, that was a danger to the planet. Remember, that's why we're doing this. It's bad for the planet. Oil is bad, and drilling is bad for the planet. So why would we loan $2 billion? We'll lose $18 billion here and loan $2 billion to Brazil to do a drilling that is twice as deep of what we were doing in the Gulf. Then the Obama administration loaned $1 billion last year and just loaned another $1 billion to Mexico to drill. Where? In the Gulf of Mexico. Right where we said it is a danger to the planet, and we're closing 3,500 U.S. wells in the Gulf. Look at it through these eyes. Does that make any sense? I mean, how does that help the American economy? We lose jobs. How does this help get us out of foreign oil dependency. It doesn't. We lose our resources. Does it help the environment? No, because we're giving them money to drill right where we say we can't.